So spring is around the corner, which means that decluttering and tidying is likely on all of our minds. And you know how the old saying goes, a cluttered space can really mean for a cluttered mind. Clutter can really have an impact on us, maybe a lot more than we think. And as much as I love a good declutter and that beautiful clean slate feeling that you get after you've done it, it's really only part of the solution. The best way to keep your space and your life feeling clutter-free is by implementing systems and habits to maintain that result. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you some quick and easy 60-second habits that you can implement to maintain your clutter-free home. And I want to thank Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's video, but I'll talk about them more a little later on. Habit number 1 is to put things away in the same place every time. This habit really requires implementing a system where you give everything a place and stick to it. This means things like when you get home, you put your keys, your wallet, your AirPods back in the exact same place. And it also means that you put your things in the same place even when you're leaving. So for example, you always put your keys in the exact same pouch in your bag every single time. You always know where your work badge is or even your lip gloss. The more you repeat this, the more second nature it will become, and the less you'll find yourself rushing around looking for your keys in the morning. Number 2 is to implement the 3-second rule. This is something that I learned from the book Essentialism, and it's that essentially it takes less than 3 seconds for us to decide whether or not we're gonna do something. Instead of getting into an internal argument with yourself on whether or not you should get up to do the dishes, skip that part of the argument altogether and just get up to do it. Coming to the conclusion of saying yes versus no to the task takes the exact same amount of time, and it's something that you feel like you've been procrastinating, then you might as well just do it. And speaking of simplifying, before we go any further, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Athletic Greens.
Hey, what time is it?
Athletic Greens time.
Okay.
Oh look, we're almost out. We need a top up. Athletic Greens is an essentialist nutrition company that are all about simplifying your daily health routine. Sometimes you gotta do one of these.
Only you do that. I have never had to do that with my Athletic Greens.
The AG1 supplement contains 75 vitamins, probiotics, and superfoods all in one daily serving with the aim to help support your focus, energy, gut health, and digestion without the need to take a bunch of different pills or supplements. The AG1 supplement is dairy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, and it doesn't contain eggs, sugar, or GMOs. Athletic Greens makes taking your vitamins easy, but for me, the staining is the issue.
Oh, yay.
You've been using Athletic Greens for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Love it. I don't know what to do with my hands. Okay, I feel more comfortable now. I like the ease of taking my supplements first thing in the morning, all in one. That's been great.
How does it taste?
I like the taste. Tastes good.
Could you describe it?
Nope.
So thank you again to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video. If you wanted to give them a try, you can get 5 free travel packs with your first purchase of AG1 and a year supply of their vitamin D drops. It'll all be linked down below. Thanks, Athletic Greens.
Chug, chug, chug.
I always get it on my nose. Wipe down your surfaces. This is a really simple habit to get into to keep your surfaces looking clean and clutter-free. Regularly wiping down countertops, the sink after you use it, or even wiping the dust off of surfaces you use regularly can help keep them looking clean and will help prevent buildup that can be harder to clean later. Especially places like your stove or oven. I've taken whole weekends to try to clean those things out, and it's not necessarily the way I want to be spending my time. I like to use an all-purpose surface cleaner in the kitchen and in the bathroom, and I just use a microfiber cloth to wipe down any surfaces after we're done using them. And once a week, I will dust and wipe down the computer, the TV, and anything else that will collect dust easily. Run the dishwasher before bed. We're very lucky to have a dishwasher in our Toronto apartment, so we take full advantage of it. Rather than spending extra time doing the dishes, we often wait until we can fill up the dishwasher and we'll run it the night before. It saves time, a lot of extra elbow grease, and in the morning when we're prepping our breakfast or even our lunches, all the dishes are clean and ready to go. Because there's nothing worse than being in a rush in the morning before work and then also having to deal with a dirty dish and scrambling to get your life together. If you don't happen to have a dishwasher, I think doing the dishes before bed is a good habit to get into anyway. It may take a little bit more than 60 seconds, but either way, I think you'll be glad that you did. Take out the trash when full. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has the household policy of whoever fills up the trash is the one who takes it out.
up!
It's full, Dad. That means you have to take out the trash.
Yep, that's the rule. He who tops it off, drops it off.
But sometimes that can turn into a competition that looks like this. So instead of getting into a debate of whose turn it is to take out the trash, just get into the habit of taking it out every couple of days maximum. Especially if you live in a smaller space like we do, we only have this little space in the corner for our trash, organics, and recycling, so it can fill up and get really messy really fast. So taking the trash and recycling out on a regular basis keeps this space looking clean and tidy, and the apartment stink-free. Just remember to replace the bags after the fact. Have a clutter bin. Or bag or basket, just some kind of clutter catcher that can be a sort of catch-all as you come across things in your house that you're no longer using. This way, it gets you into the habit of dealing with it right away, and when the bag is full, you can either donate it or discard it appropriately. I do this often with my paper clutter, with dongles that I don't know what they're for, and especially with my clothing. I come across things that I'm no longer wearing, that no longer fit, or that are even worn out, and once the bag is full, I'll take these to local consignment or even sell them online on Poshmark or Facebook Marketplace. Just make sure that the clutter bag isn't just moved from one location to another, like from your house to the trunk of your car. Try to deal with it when it's top of mind so it's another task complete. Use the same hanger for all of your clothes. A nice way to reduce visual clutter in your closet and have your clothes looking a lot neater and more uniform is by using the same hanger. You can choose velvet, plastic, or wooden, but having a mishmash of hangers in your wardrobe can make things just look a little bit more chaotic and cluttered than maybe we would like. And certain hangers, like the wire ones from the dry cleaner, can actually cause some damage in your more delicate pieces. For me, myself, I like to use velvet hangers because they're slim and compact, so if you tend to have more clothing, then you can fit more in there, and the garments don't tend to slip off as easily compared to a plastic or a wooden hanger. Hang up your jacket when you get home, and put your shoes back where they belong. It's so easy for a front entryway to get cluttered up really easily, especially if you have a bigger family and kids are involved. There are only 2 of us living in this apartment, but our entryway is quite tiny, which means that everything needs a place, and it's quite the necessity to put things away where they belong, or the space can get easily cluttered up and even disrupt the flow of traffic. So when we get home, not only do we put our keys where they belong, but we put our coats back in the closet, and since it's wintertime, we'll put our shoes on this shoe mat to dry off and get all the salt off. Otherwise, we also have a shoe rack in this closet to keep them out of sight. Do a 60-second reset. This is such a simple habit to get into that I think provides a lot of visual impact. And that's simply doing a quick tidy of your space when you're done. If it's in the living room, put the TV remote back where it belongs, fluff the pillows, and fold any blankets so the space is neat and tidy when you're ready to use it the next day. If it's your workspace, it means tidying up any papers, putting electronics back where they belong or on chargers, and doing things like wrapping up extra wires or putting your headphones away. It takes less than a minute to do this every time, and by the time you're ready to use that space again, it's clean and ready to go. Use trays. A tray is a really easy and decorative fix to designate a place for something. We have one in our entryway for our keys. We have one in our kitchen for seasoning and oils that we use regularly. So not only is a tray a really nice decorative touch that you can add to your space, but it encourages the habit of putting things away where they belong and everything having a home. Deal with paper mail right away. It's so easy to let paper mail pile up and procrastinate dealing with it, but if you still do receive some paper items in the mail, try to open them up and deal with them right away. This ensures you won't miss out on any important information that may be coming in the mail, and it'll just help deal with any paper clutter that can so easily build up. And this option might also take longer than a minute, but try switching to paperless. It's another great way to minimize any paper clutter, especially if that builds up easily for you. Get a vacuum you like using. I used to hate vacuuming because our old vacuum used to spit out more things than it would suck up, and it made vacuuming a really time-consuming chore. As a birthday present to myself last year, I got myself the Dyson V11, and it makes vacuuming a habit that we actually like doing. If there's any crumbs on the floor after cooking, we'll just run the vacuum over it. It takes less than a minute, and every couple of days we'll run the vacuum over the rugs. It just keeps all that sneaky hair off the floor. Put away your dirty clothes. As much as I'm tempted to leave my dirty clothes on the floor, put your dirty clothes in the laundry basket, or if they're not that dirty, allow them to air out in a designated area. You can use a laundry rack for this, and we simply use this door hook to allow our clothes to air out before hanging them back in the closet for another wear. If you want to know more about how I take care of my clothes, you can watch this video here. And finally, avoid having too many backups. The thing about having a lot of backups of things that you use regularly is that you need to find a place to store them. I know the multi-pack from Costco is probably a better deal, but we try to keep a limit on the amount of backups that we keep because we have a limited amount of space, and that's how clutter can easily build up. If we can, and it turns out to be more affordable, we'll only buy replacements when we need them. Otherwise, we try to limit our backup items to a maximum of 2 to 3 to maintain a cohesive looking and clutter-free space. So those are some simple habits that will take you less than 1 minute to do to keep your home tidy and clutter-free. Once these systems are implemented, these habits will become second nature, and you can spend more time enjoying your home instead of cleaning it up. Thanks again to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video. You can click the link in the description below to get 5 free travel packs with your first purchase and a year's supply of vitamin D drops. Thanks so much for watching. If you found some value in this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.